All right, let's dive right into this explainer and explore the astonishing, escalating scale of extreme wealth. We're going to look at exactly what happens to a piece of real estate, specifically a private island, when the price tag jumps from literal pocket change to a staggering $250 million. It's a really fascinating journey of economics, luxury, and sheer human imagination.
To truly understand the sheer scale of this, we have to contrast our absurd starting point with our mind-bending climax. On one end, you have an island purchased for a single dollar, complete with a random pile of wooden pylons and a fully exposed old toilet. On the other end, a $250 million island featuring an exclusive amusement park built for 13,000 people. The huge gap between these two properties reveals what ultimate wealth actually buys and how the very definition of an island changes as the budget approaches infinity.
Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We've got 1. The $1 island, 2. Novelty climates, 3. True luxury, 4. The eco-billionaire experience, and finally, 5. The $250 million mega island.
Section 1. The $1 island, a pile of bricks. Let's start at the very bottom with the absolute cheapest private island in the world.
So you step foot on this property, and you quickly realize you aren't really buying land. You're getting a random pile of bricks, a standalone toilet just sitting out in the open, and some wooden pylons. Actually, there are more poles on this structure than actual square footage. You're essentially buying a tiny, unusable joke. In fact, it was so worthless, the new owner decided the best course of action was to simply blow it up with explosives and walk away.
But as we chart our escalating journey across these different price tiers, watch how our expectations have to completely shift. We're leaving that $1 joke behind and crossing into multi-million-dollar territory where the rules of real estate completely change.
Section 2. Novelty climates, gimmicks, and extremes. Moving up the ladder, the $1 million and $5 million islands brilliantly illustrate this entry-level luxury tier, where you pay for incredible gimmicks rather than vast acreage.
There is this hilarious quote, "Is this $1 million island or $1 million bush?" And it perfectly captures the $1 million Monkey Island. When visitors arrived, they realized it wasn't even real land. It was actually the top of a massive underwater plant network that had just emerged from the water to create the illusion of an island. And true to its name, it's swarming with hundreds of monkeys. But get this, they have a highly specific strategy. They kind of gaslight you into thinking you're friends. And then, bam, they steal your food and even your cameras.
So the crucial takeaway here is that in this low millions bracket, you are purchasing an incredibly specific novelty experience. On the $1 million Monkey Island, you're sleeping in one of 6 luxury cabanas suspended completely above the water just to avoid sharing space with thieving monkeys. On the flip side, the $5 million Frozen Island sits at 0 degrees Celsius. The surrounding lake is completely frozen solid, meaning standard snowmobiles are deemed too basic. Instead, you arrive via hovercraft. It balances the freezing extremes with futuristic, self-heating huts that float on the water in the summer and survive the dead of winter, giving you prime access to dog sledding and the northern lights.
Section 3. True luxury, $16 million to $45 million. This is where the sheer novelty wears off and the accumulation of crazy high-end toys begins.
Jumping from $16 million to $45 million is a massive shift in scope. For $16 million, the island itself is tiny, but it's totally packed with toys. We're talking a submarine for nearly every guest, a specialized shark submarine, and a helicopter that you can literally skydive out of directly into the ocean. But hit $45 million, and your investment shifts from an absurd fleet of watercraft to vast geography. This island is so massive, it requires a long off-roading jungle safari just to cross it. It features a sprawling mansion, a beachside bar, a giant pool, 5 luxury beachside cabanas, and hidden deep in the jungle, 100-year-old village ruins complete with a giant 1,000-pound stone slab.
Section 4. The Eco-Billionaire, $150 million resort. Now, all of that pales in comparison to our next stop, Richard Branson's private mega island, which took over 4 decades of meticulous planning and construction to build.
10. That staggering number represents the staff-to-guest ratio on this island. 10 dedicated staff members waiting on the every need of just one single guest. It proves that ultimate wealth doesn't just buy toys or land, it buys dedicated human labor to cater to literally your every conceivable whim. And this place brilliantly illustrates the paradox of the ultra-wealthy. You've got 8 mega mansions, but they are completely 100% powered by eco-friendly solar panels and wind turbines. He brought in endangered species, flamingos, lemurs, and a tortoise that can live over 200 years to save them from extinction. Yet, right alongside this eco-conservation, you have extreme surreal opulence. You can hit golf balls off a mansion roof into the ocean because the balls are made of biodegradable fish food. Oh, and if you get hungry in the pool, actual hired mermaids will swim up and serve you fresh sushi. No joke.
But here's a fascinating economic reality. If you don't happen to have $150 million lying around, you can actually rent this exact experience for $140,000 a day. It is an incredibly steep price for a vacation, but it really puts the true cost of extreme, once-in-a-lifetime luxury into perspective.
Section 5. The 250 million mega island, the ultimate price tag. Finally, we reach the apex of our explainer, a place that defies all standard definitions of real estate. So, what actually makes an island worth $250 million? To answer that, we have to look past luxury homes and exotic animals. We have to realize that at this level, you are essentially purchasing your own private municipality and heavy infrastructure.
The sheer overkill here is genuinely hard to process. It is a completely self-contained theme park. You have over a dozen water slides, a private hot air balloon, man-made beaches spanned by zip lines, and over 100 jet skis waiting in the water. Plus, exotic roaming animals like peacocks just wandering around. Most unbelievably, it features 5 gargantuan pools designed to host up to 13,000 people at once. It completely transforms the owner from a host into the mayor of a private entertainment city.
Remember that 10-to-1 staff-to-guest ratio we just talked about? Well, here the numbers get even crazier. During one visit, they had over 100 highly trained lifeguards on duty for a party of just 4 people. When you have a private island with over 100 lifeguards watching 4 people swim, it becomes statistically impossible to drown.
And the absolute crown jewel of this $250 million island is Daredevil's Peak. Standing at 135 feet, it is the tallest water slide in all of North America. Standing at the top with the wind howling and the island looking tiny way down below you, it acts less like a recreational water toy and a lot more like a towering monument to absolute financial excess. A literal skyscraper built entirely for private aquatic thrills.
So at what price point does an island stop being a private getaway and start being its own self-contained country? As we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this final thought. When you have a piece of land where you can comfortably house 13,000 people, employ a literal standing army of lifeguards, protect exotic roaming animals, and completely control your own massive theme park, are you still just buying real estate, or are you buying a reality entirely of your own making? It really makes you wonder where the ceiling of wealth truly ends.